Welcome back to our channel where wisdom meets wonder and ancient stories come alive. Today's story from the legendary Vikram Vedalam series will make you think deeply about justice, sacrifice, and true loyalty. The title of today's tale is Who is the God of Justice? On a silent moonless night, King Vikramaditya marches through the dark and ancient forest of Pratapgarh. The trees stand like silent sentinels, their branches twisted and gnarled. Owls hoot in the distance. The wind whispers secrets through the leaves. Above him, hanging upside down from an old tamarind tree, is the eerie Vital, a spirit who possesses a corpse. Vikram, fearless and determined, approaches the tree without hesitation. He pulls the corpse down, lifts it onto its broad shoulder, and begins walking back towards the cremation ground. The weight is heavy, the night is cold, but Vikram's resolve is unshakable. Suddenly, the Beetle speaks, his voice echoing through the forest. "O King brave, you are indeed, but listen carefully to my condition. If you walk silently without uttering a single word, I shall remain with you. But if you speak even once, I will fly back to this very tree, and you will have to start all over again." Vikram nods silently, his jaw set the way, tall chuckles again, amused. "But here's the twist, O King. I shall tell you a story at the end. I will ask you a question. If you know the answer and still choose silence, your head will burst into 1,000 pieces." Vikram continued walking unfazed. And so the Beetle began his tale. In the prosperous kingdom of Chandrapur, there lived a noble king named Akshayan. King Akshayan was not just a ruler, he was the heart of his people. His decisions were fair, his judgments wise, and his compassion boundless. Farmers prized him. Merchants blessed him. Scholars honored him. Under his region, the kingdom flourished like a garden. In spring, one day, King Akshayan fell gravely ill. A mysterious fever consumed him. His body grew weak, his skin turned pale. He could barely open his eyes. The royal physicians were summoned from every corner of the land. They examined him, consulted ancient texts, and mixed rare herbs, but nothing worked. Finally, the chief physician approached the queen and the court with a grim face. "Maharaj has only 3 days left to live," he announced, his voice trembling. The news spread like wildfire. The entire kingdom plunged into sorrow. Markets closed. Temples filled with prayers. Women wept openly. Children stopped playing. The palace, once filled with laughter, now echoed with silence. Among those most heartbroken were 2 men, the king's prime minister Sudarshan and his spiritual guru Rishi Madhav. Sudarshan, our son, had served the king since childhood. He was not just a minister, he was the king's closest confidant, his advisor, his friend. The thought of losing his king shattered him. Rishi Madhav was the king's spiritual guide. He had taught the young prince the way of dharma, righteousness, and justice. To him, the king was not just a disciple, he was like a son. Both men, consumed by grief, sought a solution. Sudarshan travelled to the ashram to the great sage deep in the Himalayas. He fell at the sage's feet and pleaded, "Oh, wise one, I beg you, take half of my remaining life and give it to my king. Let him live and let the kingdom prosper. I have no greater purpose than serving him." The sage, seated in meditation, opened his eyes slowly. "Do you understand the price you will pay?" he asked gravely. Sudarshan bowed deeper. "My king's life is worth more than mine. Without him, I am nothing. If I can save him, my life has meaning." The sage closed his eyes, chanted ancient mantras, and accepted the sacrifice. At the same time, Rishi Madhav had performed a powerful ritual. In his hermitage, he offered half of his own life force to the king, praying, "O divine powers, accept my years so that my king may live. Let him continue to protect Dharma and lead his people." With wisdom through the mystical power of the sage rituals, the combined life force of the minister and the saint entered King Akshayan bodies, and a miracle happened. The king's fever broke, his eyes opened, color returned to his face. Strength flowed back into his limbs. By the third morning, King Akshayan sat up in his bed, completely healed. The kingdom erupted in celebration. Drums were beaten, sweets were distributed. Prayers of gratitude filled the air, but the price was heavy. Sudarshan, the minister, grew visibly weaker. His steps became slower. Yet he smiled a smile of deep satisfaction. Rishi Madhav aged faster than expected. His skin wrinkled, his voice softened, but he stood peaceful. They gave what they had, with no expectation of return. King Akshayan resumed his duties with a renewed purpose, unaware of the full extent of their sacrifice. The Vital passed, letting the story settle in Vikram's mind. Then, with a sly grin, he asked, "O King Vikramaditya, 3 lives are intertwined here. One who received life, one who gave life out of duty, and one who gave life purely out of love. Tell me, O King Vikramaditya, whose sacrifice is supreme? Who among them deserves to be called the God of justice?" Silence. Vikram kept walking, his mind racing. The Beetle's laughter echoed through the trees. "Come now, O King Vikramaditya, you know the answer. Speak or your head will explode." Vikram could no longer remain silent. He stopped, lowered the corpse gently, and spoke. "Vital, the answer is clear to me." Vital leaned forward, intrigued. "Go on." Vikram began. "The king." "No," Vikram said firmly. "The king received life. It was his duty towards his kingdom to live and rule. He did not sacrifice. He benefited. His role, though important, was passive. The saint, No, Vikram continued. Rishi Madhav acted out of dharma, his spiritual responsibility as a guru. It was his sacred calling to protect his disciple. His sacrifice, though noble, was bound by his vows and his role. He acted according to his spiritual calling. The beetle titled his head. The who, then who, O king? Vikram's voice grew stronger, more resolute. The minister. He continued, Sudarshan's made the highest sacrifice. Why? Because he acted out of pure unconditional love and loyalty. Not out of duty, not out of dharma, not out of obligation, but out of the depths of his heart. The king acted because it was his destiny to rule the scene. He acted because it was his dharma to guide. But the minister? He acted because he loved his king more than his own life. He expected nothing in return, no recognition, no reward, no divine merit, just the happiness of seeing his king live. A sacrifice born from unconditional love with no obligation or expectation is the greatest sacrifice of all. Therefore, the minister is the true God of justice. The forest fell silent. The waiters started at Vikram's for a long moment. Once again, King Vikram, your wisdom has shattered my game. You are as sharp as you are strong. And in an instant, the corpse vanished from Vikram's shoulder. The beetle flew back to the tamarind tree, hanging upside down once more, grinning mischievously. Vikram sighed, turned back, and began walking back through the dark forest. The journey was far from over, and so, dear friends, Vikram continued his quest night after night, answering the beetle riddles with wisdom and courage. But what about us? What can we learn from this story? The moral is simple yet profound. True justice is not measured by duty or religion, but by pure selfless love and the willingness to sacrifice without expecting anything in return. In our lives, we often act out of obligation because society expects it, because our role demands it, because we seek recognition. But the highest form of love is that which asks for nothing. It gives freely, silently, joyfully. That is the essence of true justice. That is the essence of true sacrifice. Think about it and share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the story, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends and subscribe for more such timeless tales.